Maybe you're looking for something to do this weekend, or you have the gear but you don't know where to go. If you kayak or canoe and are looking for a pleasant way to spend a warm weather day on the water, keep your paddle handy. We are about to embark on one of the area's premier boating spots, the Lower Columbia River Trail, and in particular, the section of Lake River running from Ridgefield to Vancouver Lake. All in our next episode of Cascade Living, coming up next. In case you're new to the channel, my name is Scott Spiker, and you'll find tips on all facets of real estate, regional living area reviews, and a lowdown on interesting things to do and see in our area. I'm a home specialist and outdoor enthusiast in the southern Washington region of the Pacific Northwest. If you have a home to sell and you're looking for the best return, I have an unmatched skill set for a top dollar, worry-free and efficient transaction. Looking to relocate here? Let me be your boots on the ground to help make that process productive, efficient, and stress-free. Wanting to move up to the next level? Expanding your first home experience into a larger family-centered reality? Either way, let me guide you in finding that next best place to live. In today's journey, we will paddle up part of Lake River from Ridgefield Boat Launch and McCuddy's Marina towards Vancouver Lake. This trip can be done as an out and back adventure or with a group in 2 cars as a point-to-point journey ending at Central Vancouver Lake Regional Park in Frenchman Bar. Unfortunately, that bar is in sand, not as in beer. Total one-way distance traveled is about 8 miles or 16 miles for a total out and back trip. Of course, many paddlers and families only go part way, so you can gauge your trip length to your ability and group needs. There are even rentals, paddle boards, and kayaks available at the marina dockside during summer months. This fun segment of Lake River is a small, obscure section of the overall 146-mile Lower Columbia River water trail system spanning an area from Bonneville Dam to the Pacific Ocean. A smaller section of the larger 32-mile Lewis River Vancouver Lake Trail. It's a great day trip or part-day journey. An underrated route for kayakers and canoers. This is a great spot for neophyte paddlers looking to avoid heavy motorized boat traffic. Typically won't see many power boats, and the ones you do encounter are limited to signed no-wake speeds. The area is maintained by the Lower Columbia Estuary Partnership, who restore and maintain valuable natural ecosystems for future generations of fish, wildlife, and people. Little known, but probably one of the more pleasant sections of this trail to paddle, it can sometimes be quite windy, which usually means a headwind coming back. That can occasionally combine with an inflowing current, which is tidal controlled by the Columbia River and its coastal Pacific Ocean influence, and can make for a more stout paddle, usually but not always on your return trip. Just keep that in mind for your trip pace so you don't miss your rental return time. Should you decide to circumnavigate the whole of Vancouver Lake, you can add about 5 extra miles to your journey. Even with longer summer days, you may want to consider an earlier leave, or what we jokingly call an early alpine start. Most people start dockside from Ridgefield Boat Ramp or McCuddy's Marina. The Division or Mill Street locations are prime launch sites and cost around $6 a day or $20 for a season pass. Renters will forego this as they typically launch from the boat garage on the water. In the first few paddle strokes, you will pass by a group of floating residences on the east side of the river. All of these are houseboats interconnected by a dock system offering year-round aqueous living, including instant access to salmon fishing and a closer connection to the surrounding riparian ecosystems. A great little insight into this waterside lifestyle. Less than a mile south of Ridgefield Boat Launch, Lake River passes beneath the bridge connecting the Ridgefield National Wildlife Refuge S Unit to the mainland. Herons, egrets, and other waterfowl are frequent along this section of the river. Keep an eye out for bald eagles, osprey, and otters. For most of the remainder of the journey, you will see cottonwood-lined banks of Lake River as it meanders past Green Lake and Post Lake on its path to larger Vancouver Lake. Here, the river widens and Turtle Island first comes into view. The small island was formed from the tailings of an Army Corps of Engineers dredging project which scoured around the perimeter of the lake in the early 1980s, creating this land mass at the north end of Vancouver Lake. Are there turtles on Turtle Island? You'll have to visit and judge for yourself. Most of the land along the shores of Lake River and a good portion of Vancouver Lake is conserved for wildlife habitat, especially migratory waterfowl. Please respect sensitive habitats and do not alter your surroundings. Download and become familiar with a water trail map so you can reserve restroom breaks for designated sites. Campsites and public lands along the trail have a range of amenities. Please note these locations on your guide or map. Be sure to take out what you brought in, including trash. Lands along the shore may be private or restricted wildlife refuge lands, so respect private property and posted lands by being a good steward and don't trespass. The Rivers, Trails, and Conservation Assistance Program, or RTCA, is a community assistance arm of the National Park Service. Vancouver Clark Parks and Recreation received a RTCA technical assistance grant to help develop a plan for Clark County's first official water trail along 32 miles of waterways between Woodland and Vancouver Lake. Their available trail paddling guide is one outcome from this water trail plan. You'll find it and other essential maps at the Vancouver Clark Parks and Recreation website and the Lower Columbia Estuary Partnership website. Lake River can flow in or out depending on tidal cycles and water levels in the lake relative to the Columbia River. Be aware that river currents are strongly influenced by both wind and tidal conditions, which can combine to influence the strength of the river current. This can typically make your return journey from Vancouver Lake more strenuous and time-consuming, so plan accordingly. Be prepared by having enough food, water, and an appropriate first aid kit with your party. It's also not a bad idea to have the skills and a plan in place in case of a capsize and needed water rescue and recovery. If you like this video and want to see additional content on the region and what it's like to live here, as well as helpful real estate related info, subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell to be notified whenever there is something new. Stay cool, play safe, and I will see you in the next episode.